Chris, I'm at the duct entrance. Where are you?
In the building right above the duct you're in?
Pretty near.
I'm about to find out what I can here.
Wow.
I got an enemy trooper uniform. It should let me blend in and listen in.
Chris.
Don't worry. I'll find out where the researchers are.
Don't overdo it.
I know.
I'll go up to your floor and we'll rendezvous there.
I'll be disguised, so no codec contact. Make voice contact when I'm alone.
All right. But aren't you wearing the same uniform as the enemy? How am I supposed to spot you among all the enemy soldiers?
What about my hairstyle? I have my hair tied up at the back. You should be able to recognize me from that. Okay.
Hairstyle, huh? Even among the GLF soldiers, there are heaps of guys with long hair.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, how about if I wear a red cap?
All right, if I see a soldier wearing a red cap, with hair tied up at the back, it must be you. Got it.
Right, Snake. See you soon.
Snake, rendezvous with Sergeant Jenner. She's in the watchtower above. Get through the duct and gain entry to the tower.
Snake, rendezvous with Sergeant Jenner. Her present location is the watchtower above the corridor you're in. Go up from the drainage systems to the watchtower.
The total area of Gindra is 553,000 square kilometers. Population approximately 5 million. A relatively small state near the center of the African continent. Under the rule of a military junta for the past 5 years. 3 years ago, the charismatic so-called general, Augustine Egwabon, led an armed uprising by the Gindra Liberation Front, aka GLF, and the country has been in a state of civil war since. The UN peacekeeping force was deployed 6 months ago to put an end to the unrest. But there has been very little progress.
Need anything?
Save.
Save completed. Even the demons avoid that which is done with a strong will. That's from the Shi-Chi. It means that there's nothing you can't accomplish if you put your mind to it. As long as you have the will, you can complete even the toughest mission. Hang in there.
The secret of staying alive in war is to think only about staying alive. There's no difference between being a little dead and being very dead. Don't bother about the little stuff.
was 7 years ago that the name of Gindra gained the level of international recognition unusual for such a small African nation.
Outer heaven.
Yes, you would know better than anyone else about that. An armed fortress state that appeared almost overnight in the Gindran Mountains. Led by Big Boss, possibly the greatest mercenary of his time. He was ready to declare war on the world on the strength of that nuclear-capable bipedal armored vehicle we call Metal Gear. But his great plan failed. You, Solid Snake, destroyed Metal Gear and took out Outer Heaven. And all this by yourself.
It was a long time ago.
The incident made Foxhound internationally famous and Solid Snake a legend.
I never wanted that.
But now you're about to take on Outer Heaven again. This time under the name of Galuade. Maybe it was meant to be.
Looks like nap time. Good. Get past him before he wakes up.
Need anything?
Save.
Save completed. Ever heard of this? Dr. Couplethorne says.
Don't you think it's about time you talked about yourself?
I like that bandana of yours, by the way.
You're trying to change the subject.
It's a compliment, Snake. It's really cool. Almost too nice for you.
You call that a compliment?
Is it maybe like a gift? From someone.
You could say that.
It must be pretty important to you if you take it to war with you.
No, my life comes first, so it's not that important.
Like in most African states, the ethnic makeup of Gindra is markedly diverse. The Gundas form a majority of the group at 60% of the total population, with the Boyas, Urbas, Toreros, and other groups forming the remaining 40%. However, since the end of the Cold War and rise of infant democracies, traditional rivalries have taken on added significance and escalated into major internecine warfare. The leading player in this conflict is our enemy, the Gindra Liberation Front, or GLF, whose goal is nothing less than the autonomous self-rule for the Boya.
Rats.
still hanging around here? You've already been ordered to withdraw from this area.
Withdrawal? You haven't heard anything about that. What going on?
There's a squall coming. The river's already flooded and there's going to be a whole lot of water around here soon.
First heard of it. Merde, if il est dire.
You get the idea. Come on, there's no time to lose.
Looks like there's a periodic torrent sweeping through that area.
It must be this rain rushing into the drainage system all at once. You can't know down there, Snake, but there's a hell of a storm outside.
Snake, if you see water coming, dig yourself somewhere high ASAP so that you won't be swept away.
Snake, rendezvous with Sergeant Jenner. She should be somewhere in the tower with you. Remember that she's disguised. Contact her when she's alone, so that the enemy won't be alerted. She has long hair tied up at the back and is wearing a red cap.
I know. Long hair, tied up at the back, and a red cap. No problem.
Snake, gas. You've got to hold your breath in the gas. Your ODA gauge will go down, and once it runs out, your life will take a hard hit. Go look for the mask first. Snake, it looks like there's an infrared sensor rig there. The alarm will go off if you break the beam. The infrared wavelength is invisible to the human eye, but it should be detectable if the beam passes through vapors or smoke. Do you have anything that can produce smoke or gas?
cellular level affect anoxia. These gases are originally colorless, with a bitter, almond-like odor that was probably tinted yellow to prevent accidental discharge. Once inhaled, poison causes headaches and increased respiration and pulse due to the onset of anoxia. The victim falls into unconsciousness and then coma, and once enough physiological functions have been disrupted, death results. But hemotoxins can be protected against to a certain extent by using a gas mask. Put yours on.
Snake, it's me. Follow me.
Rank. Terrible.
We won't have to worry about the guards here.
Good. We can talk.
What is it?
Sorry, it's just that you're easier on the eyes than any other Delta Force operator I've met.
Is that your idea of a compliment?
Absolutely. Anyway, what did you find out?
Plenty. Only one researcher is left. James Harkes, aka Jimmy the Wizard, head of the Metal Gear development team. Supposed to be a genius.
Get his location?
Uh-huh. There are barracks to the north of this building. He seems to be held there.
In the barracks to the north of here. Got it.
One more thing. There are 4 mercenaries working as GLF's military consultants. Slasher Hawk. His signature weapon is a giant boomerang. Marionette Owl, expert assassin and master of nocturnal combat. Pyro Bison, who practices his own scorched earth tactics with a massive flamethrower. And their leader, Black Art Viper.
Viper. Poisonous snake.
They first appeared on the scene around 2 years ago. Made a round of hotspots around the world before they set up in Gindra. They're very, very good. Rumor has it they're former U.S. Special Forces.
American. That was good work in a pretty short time.
I tried my best. Was that a good enough proof for you?
Let's just say you convinced me you don't need babysitting. What else? Anything wrong?
Yes. Like the fact that we Americans are not welcome around here.
Why?
They think the U.S. is blocking their independence. That the deployment of peacekeepers is an armed invasion to extend U.S. control over Gindra. That's why they have such faith in the general, who wants to end U.S. interference and win independence. I thought our mission was for the good of the people of this country. But what we're doing may be...
Chris, why did you join the military?
What? Well, maybe because I wanted something concrete.
Something concrete.
Like justice or discipline. All the things we need to keep going.
Chris, the only thing you need on a battlefield to keep going is the instinct to keep living.
Yeah.
I don't want you to die.
But
Think about completing the mission. About going home alive first.
Yes, I guess so. I will, for now.
I'm going after hearts. He must have some valuable information on Metal Gear.
Okay, I'll open the doors with my card 3. You can trail me.
Chris.
What?
You're going to be okay.
Don't worry. With this outfit on, no one will spot me.
That's not what I meant.
I know. Thanks. Ladies first.
Snake, rescue James Harks, the chief of the Metal Gear development team. Harks is held in a barracks to the north of the watchtower you're in. First, follow Sergeant Jenner's lead and get to the north side of the tower.
Snake, there are gun cameras. It'll fire on you once you're in its field of vision. Watch out.
Now you've got a gas mask. If you're equipped with the gas mask, you'll be able to hold out for a long time in a gassed environment. The filtration canister protects the wearer from the gas. The pressure inside the mask during respiration opens and closes the suction and ventilation valves. The glass is bullet resistant and is treated against fogging. The mask is also equipped with a water tube to drink from and a voice emitter to make communication easier during extended use. But don't underestimate the risks. Even with the gas mask on, once the O2 gauge runs out, your life will take significant damage. Don't plan on any long stays where there's gas. So you have chaff grenades too. Those will neutralize the enemy's electronic equipment. As it detonates, it releases particles of metal instead of conventional fragments. Very effective against surveillance cameras and other equipment. but you don't have a prayer of taking anyone down using those. Don't confuse the two grenade types. That's a hand grenade. Specifically, a fragmenting grenade that hits a target area with the impact of both the explosion and the dispersed fragments. Pull the pin and throw the grenade, then the safety lever will be released. The firing pin hits the percussion cap. The fuse is activated and the thing goes off. The technology has remained unchanged from the early days. Packed your rations, huh? Push the B button with the rations selected in the menu to use them. Your life will recover on the spot. If you have them ready, you can recover at the last minute as your life goes to 0. It makes the difference between being alive and being real dead. Rations are high priority. Soldiers are the ones who do the fighting, and the food that gives them the energy for it is a weapon in its own right. These are combat foodstuffs that emphasize function and calorie content for battle conditions. They may be functional, but these aren't your average dry, bland calorie crackers. There's entrees, soup, coffee, even dessert, and chocolate bars and candies for snacking on. There's a vegan menu too, if that's your thing. But knowing you, it's all going to get gobbled up in 2 seconds.
Alright.
Anyway, rations are good to have around, but food is scarce on the field. And no soldier ever fought well on a full stomach. Don't overeat.
barracks where Harks is kept is to the northeast of here.
Got it. I'll have to head east from here and I'll be okay. What about you?
I'll check out the power plant.
The power plant.
It supplies all the power for this fortress, but there's something strange going on.
Like what?
It's an important installation, sure, but there's too much traffic. I'm going to take a look, see what's up. Could be Metal Gear.
Chris.
I'll be all right. Don't worry. You watch your back, Snake.
Snake, leave the plant to Jenner and head for the barracks. Head northeast. You're there.
Looks like the door is controlled by those switches to the left. Try pushing a few.
That door won't open with the card. You have to hit the switch.
Carl, what am I doing here? Puzzles. I'm not really a puzzle guy. Whoever designed these switches is insane. This is absurd.
Hours later.
Snake, there's a dog over there. It must be one of GLF's trained military dogs. Probably a Doberman. Intelligent and fierce hunters that they are. Their sense of smell is very keen. Stay away from them as much as possible, so that they don't catch your scent.
Snake, that's a military-trained dog. Their sense of smell is especially keen. Make sure you don't go anywhere near them. The barracks where Dr. Harks is being held is to the north of there. Keep walking north.
Snake, military dogs are risky. We have to contend with their nose as well as eyes. Proceed with extreme caution. You should be able to crawl through the grass without being noticed. Snake, that area is a marsh. If you crawl, you should be able to stay out of the enemy sight. But you'll have to hold your breath during that time. You need to hold your breath in water or gas-filled environments. During that time, an odor gauge will be displayed alongside the life gauge. The odor gauge will go down while your breath is being held, and once you let it run out, your life gauge will take a launch hit. Learn to time your air intake.
Gindran grass grows fast and high. The enemy shouldn't be able to see you if you crouch down. There are over 2,000 species of birds on the African continent. That accounts for around 15% of all bird species in the world. That bird is probably a sand grouse, related to pigeons. Sand grouse can carry water in their breast feathers. The male dips the area in water and flies back to the nest to provide water to the young. Their meat is tough, but fairly tasty. Surprising a bird into flight may give your location away to the enemy. Keep that in mind.
Birds are sensitive to their surroundings and easily alerted, so may be the enemy. If you startle a bird into flight, it may give your presence away. Be careful.
I'm Slasher Hawk.
One of the mercenaries that decimated Delta Force.
That's right. A boring little cleanup job.
How do you know my name?
Your reputation precedes you. Solid Snake. It's a very special name to us, the Black Chamber.
Black Chamber.
Unlike the pawns here, we have no interest in the General's ideals or bid for independence. But let me tell you this. Black Chamber, not Foxhound, is the world's best special force unit. And I'll prove it with your dead body. Take this.
A boomerang.
That's an overused white man's name. My people call it Wilgie. This is a weapon of proud lineage, and it's your guide into the afterlife. Outer heaven is what you're remembered for, and outer heaven is where you'll be buried. Start digging!
Snake, that's one of the ambushers who killed off my team. Look out for the boomerang.
Slasher Hawk. I'd heard of the mercenary who wields a boomerang. Don't underestimate boomerangs, Snake. They're half descended from hunting implements called Kylies. And his in particular is an original design in 5-foot-long steel. I've heard stories from a pal about how he saw Hawk split a calf in two with that thing. I guess he's not called Slasher for nothing. Boomerangs aren't thrown more than one at a time, but he uses two at the same time. They say he got the idea from watching jugglers and double-bladed Chinese martial arts. He has his hawk with him even on the battlefield. Someone told me it's an orphan chick he found after another war somewhere else. I hear he won't touch a dish that mixes seafood with inland food because it's a taboo. He's supposed to be part Australian Aborigines. Still keeps with the traditions the best he can. But no one knows which tribe he belongs to or why he left to become a mercenary.
There's no way around him. Take him down and pursue the mission objectives.
Colonel, have you ever heard of a group called Black Chamber?
Black Chamber.
That's what I'm up against right now, but they're like nothing I've ever seen before. Looks like they were the ones who wiped out the Delta Force team, too.
No, I've never heard of them. He's on higher ground. Too difficult to get the drop on him with a handgun. You'll have to use the grenade. Dodge the boomerang while you pitch grenades at him.
This hawk is my totem and my protector. As long as it flies, I will fight. I will fight.
Rank. Terrible. Hawk, why me?
You, all of you, took away my family.
What are you talking about?
I grew up in Australia with the people you call Aborigines, but that's not what I was born as. I was abandoned. My adopted parents took me in, raised me against the elders' opposition. So cold. Everyone was always so cold to me. I go where the talking and laughter was, and they'd scatter, leave me with the ashes. I tried. I observed the customs and taboos more than anyone else. I tried to win their acceptance. But when my parents died, they turned me out. Wouldn't let me be one of them. From then on, I drifted all over the world. And everywhere I went, I was an outsider. No one accepted me. But Viper was different. He took me in, accepted me into the Black Chamber. It was my home. You, all of you.
What?
I'll be dead for Viper. I know that Viper will avenge me. Taste it. Our bitterness, our grief. No funeral pyre, snake. It's forbidden. This hook will carry my spirit home. Yes. Finally going home. Will they let me in this time?
Oh, fuck you, can't even
Next
say.
time on Metal Gear Solid Ghost Battle.
So basically, Snake, your weapons are all useless against enemies.
There's so many of them.
Yeah, they just kind of keep coming indefinitely.
Right on.
Snake, use the fogger to display infrared beams. Wait, is that what we're calling them?
Call them whatever you want. Nintendo of America, I'm gonna smoke these here foggers.